Hi everybody, Nancy here. I generally try to keep all my videos down around 2 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes, but this one I can tell is going to be longer because I'm going to try to cover 2 or 3 things at one time. They all are going to involve using transparency, so I want to show several things at once. I'm going to show you how to create stickers from an image or from a PDF file. But to do that, I'm going to use transparency. So we're going to cover all of them, and I'm going to try to be as detailed as possible. All right, the first thing, both of these down at the bottom, the little girl and the cat, are both images. The one on the left, the little girl I drew, the one on the right is an actual stamp, a rubber stamp that I bought. Okay, and I want to make a digital image of both of these because I don't stamp and color that way anymore, but I want to use the little cat. I like it. And I'm going to show you 2 different things about transparency. That's why I want to do both of them. All right, to make something transparent around the outside edge, you just select it, then you go to your gear and scroll down toward the bottom under image, and there's transparency. Okay, now the things up at the top, you've got a gear that opens up a window. You know, I'm going to change it to red. And see, right now it's red. But if I go back to the little gear, I can change it to blue. And it'll be blue. Okay, doesn't matter. It has 0 effect on anything except you can see it. And basically, all the stuff that's inside this gear is on the top layer anyway. I never open it up anymore. You have the option to use the fill, which is what I just did. Is just tap and it fills all that color until it hits another color. It will fill everything until it hits a different color. Okay. If for example you want to do paint, you want to get closer and do better selecting. If you go to paint, then you can kind of paint it in. Now, see the bold blue color at the top? That's actually a preview of how big your paintbrush is. So I'm taking my pointer or my pen and just going to the left to make it smaller, going to the right to make it larger. All right, if I'm doing up close to the actual figure, I go real small. Okay, and that way I can get, if I want to get inside that right there, I can do it very, very detailed like that. I know it's hard for you to see because you don't know where I'm putting my pen down, but if you watch, you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just coloring in the hair down at the bottom by her ear. All right, now I can tell that something happened up here by her ponytail. It got too much. So what I do to fix that is change from add to subtract. And you just color it in just like you would the when you were adding to the invisible part or the transparent part. So that's how you can clean things up if it gets too much or too little. And I'm being exaggerated here. I don't want to spend too much time doing this. Okay. And see, another thing I would do is change to paint. I would do a bigger brush. Whoops. See, now there you go. I had it on subtract instead of add. I need to change it back. All right. And just color in. And another thing that slider does, that makes how big the paintbrush is, but that little thing is also how tolerant the fill tool is. If I go to the right and I tap, see it gets way more of colors that are close to that, what you're tapping. See, I'm doing like a beige background. Well, it took out her face. So I would undo that, which is the undo button over on the left. Undo that and keep undoing it until I get my face back. There she is. Okay. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a whole bunch of little bits and pieces. Now, what I just did, what you may not have seen, but I saw it, my finger accidentally, it acts like a pen on this level. See down at the bottom, I'm taking out the purple. So you have to be very careful where you swipe with your finger. Do subtract and do paint and get those back. Now I would take a whole lot more time and get this better cleaned up. I used like a watercolor paper to draw this little girl, so it's really rough around her face. But anyway, okay, so let's just say that's done. All right, it's not close to done, but we're going to say it is. And I hit save. Well, now you've got a translucent background for this little girl, or transparent background for this little girl. And I can save her at this point as a stamp, or I get it mixed up, stamp or sticker. That's what the world calls it, sticker, or a symbol, which is what ZoomNotes calls it. All right, and the way I would do that is open that up. Oh, I've got to select it. It got unselected. Select it. Hold my finger down to get the pop-up menu. Open it up to Other. Scroll to the bottom and create new symbol. And it just did it. I hope. Let's see. See, there she is down at the bottom. And now I can stamp her. And there she is. Okay, now the reason I want to show you the stamp is a little bit different. You see how mottled the background is? Well, let me go ahead and select it and go to transparency. If I start selecting, it could take me all day trying to get the feel, Nancy, because there's so many different colors. Hello. See, it's not filling up like it should. So easier is to tap on the black and see how it selects all the black. If this was a really complex drawing, this would be even more important. Now I'm gonna, oops. I tapped my pen hoping to erase those dots. You can't do that here. Go to subtract and erase that out. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to, let me go back to add and do fill for the eyes and the little dot for the mouth. Now, it's easier for me to have done those lines than to try to do that background. Now, because what I want is the lines, I don't want them to be invisible, I'll go to invert at the top next to the undo button. And now that has selected the background. But notice that the background's not real, it's got jaggedy edges. So now if I do fill and I tap inside, it knocks out those white edges. It cleans it up a little bit. Okay. And again, I'm not going to go to the time and trouble to do that, all those different things, but because you get my point and I'm trying to move on. Okay. So now I do a save. And now I have a line art that I can color in. Now what I would probably do if I were going to color this image is make a copy of it and then put one that I fill, and then have the another one that I put on a layer above it so that I can put it on top of whatever I colored. Because sometimes when you color in, you go off the lines, or you go, over the lines, you cover them up. So if you have a second copy, you can always just layer it on top of it. Okay. Last thing I wanted to show you is that you can also create stamps / symbols / stamps from a PDF file. Now, I've got this book that is 31 pages long. It's all PDF. There's no pictures per se. It's all I can't select just something and make a stamp. I'm going to have to use the grab tool to do that. And the grab tool, if you go to the little wrench and hammer looking thing, it's under Image Tools, Grab Image, far right. I use that all the time. So I have it on my top toolbar. I click on that, and that gives me a red square, or a pinkish square. And the shape and size of this pink square when it comes in depends on the last thing you did. So it may not look this way every time. All right, so now I just select, I want to use the look as a stamp or symbol or stamp, symbol, or sticker. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't keep that in my head. All right, if I hold my pen down on top of the pink, it pops up this menu, and I always just do copy and then do paste. And see, now I have a little version of it. Now I could take it over to transparency and get rid of all the white or whatever, or I could crop it and just do the look or whatever. You have all kinds of options here, but I'm going to just leave it as is. Hold down the, now I keep holding down to get this pop-up menu, but you notice I keep this over here pinned. So create a symbol is also in this list, and really and truly I use it more often than the other. See, it's down under operations, it's under cut, duplicate, create new symbol. Okay, symbol created, I just did it. I open up my symbols, and there it is at the bottom. I select it, I tap off, and there I have it. So simple. Okay, so we have just created a stamp symbol from a rubber stamp, or an image basically, and from a PDF file. Okay, that's all. Thanks. Have a great day.